Appreciate y'all for tapping in today. Listen, we got a special occasion here today, a kickoff of something that I've been trying to do for over 2 years now, right at 2 years here on the network. And we've kind of just, with the way that we've been moving, we haven't been able to do it like we want to. Now we have officially kicked off this series. We're going behind the scenes. We're getting connected. We're networking. We're discovering stories and impactful moments in sports and personalities, athletes, people that have impacted the game of football in particular, past the field, past the sidelines, past the offices. We're talking about people that are giving back to their communities, that are impacting generations of young men and women in this industry that we like to enjoy, which is the sports entertainment industry. So I'm glad to have this special guest here, someone that, when we talk about Alabama royalty, former players and things of that nature, yes, we highlight that, but this is somebody that's a product of where I'm from, literally, Phoenix City, Alabama. If you don't know about it, if you know about it, it's because you've been there. If you don't know about it, you probably won't ever know about it. But growing up in Phoenix City isn't easy, and especially back in the day during this time when racism and civil rights movement was a heavy thing, and to see gentlemen like our special guest today persevere through it and do what he did during his time in Alabama, but then to come back, give back to his community, give back to the university that gave him an opportunity, and continue just to impact lives. I am so happy and honored to have this opportunity to have this special guest here. So if you're in the live chat, thank you for pulling up live. Don't forget, come in, like, and share the stream. Make sure you hit a thumbs up. Drop a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. This great man of God, man. I'm telling you, we share like faith and everything. But without further ado, man, bring into the stage, chat, the AAA family. I want y'all to give it up for none other than the GOAT himself, Jeremiah. Pretty boy, Castille. That's a smooth gentleman right there. Y'all give it up for him right there, AAA family. How you doing, sir?
We're excellent, man. Blessed today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on today. For real, I am so I just don't think you understand. This has been a season of just, overflowing, and God just really just coming in and just boom, blowing your mind. So I'm in a space right now. I'm on this grind, and opportunities are presenting themselves, and this is one that I've been looking forward to. How's your day going today, man?
Coach Smook, every day that God gives me is a blessed day. So I'm one of those that believe in seizing the moment every day. I'm one day past celebrating my 65th birthday.
Yes, sir. Happy belated.
Yesterday I celebrated 65 years, and man, excited about just every decade that God gives me here on out, and excited about the work that he's called us to do at the University of Alabama and down in here also in Birmingham. So we're and it's about that work and grind for me. I'll be honest.
Yes, sir. I saw you in the gym on Instagram, and I was like, yeah, he's still getting to it. My dad's the same way. He just celebrated his 60th birthday August 31st of last year, so he'll be 61 this year. And former athlete, retired military is like, when it's in you, it's hard to get it out of it. And the benefits of that healthy living and paying attention by staying spiritually fit, staying physically, emotionally fit, that matters in living a long and prosperous life. So it's cool to see that. I was telling my brand manager, she was like, you ought to see if he'll invite you to a workout. I call myself being a fitness junkie. And I haven't been in the gym in probably like 3 months, but I still do my thing at home. I was like, man, he'll probably break me off right now. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Get after it pretty good for, I'm just, I'm crazy like that. I just, I grew up undersized and told I was too small. So the gym is where I had to, lifting weight is what I had to do to be able to compete.
And speaking of that mentality, a lot of people kind of, they think it started when you got to Alabama and had to go through Bear Bryant's, the grueling Bear Bryant camps and all of that. And let's kind of just break the ice with where the mentality to just be that competitor and that keen focus that you seem to carry throughout your whole life, just the ability to stay focused and be mission oriented and execute. Like, where does that derive from?
It started with my father, Joseph Castille. As a young boy, my dad, Coach Smook, never owned a vehicle. He never had driver's license. We lived in
Mm,
South Phoenix City, and as a 12, 13, 14-year-old boy, my dad worked 3 jobs, and he worked a day job, night job, and I walked to work with him on the night job. We'd walk to Columbus, Georgia from Phoenix City, work all night, and then I walk back home. And my
mm.
dad was a World War II vet, and his deal is he gonna tell you something one time, and that's
That's
it.
it.
But it's done. So as a matter of fact, that restaurant is still there in Columbus called the Getch's House.
Yes, sir.
It's still there, and so we cleaned it. We bust the tables at night and cleaned all that stuff up. And I like to tell people when I got to the University of Alabama at 18, I was an 18-year-old man.
Yeah. The guys that made it out of Phoenix City to the big name schools, the Auburns and the Alabamas back in that time, they had that work ethic. And that's been something that's been prevalent throughout like generations of athletes or people that come and just leave Phoenix City. You look at how far it's come because of, some of the change and things that some of the bars that people like yourself set. What was that like, committing to Alabama, coming out of Phoenix City?
Well,
Like,
I like to tell people the vision to play at the University of Alabama came when I was in middle school, probably 7th grade, 8th grade, and Woodrow Lowe was the All-American linebacker at that
yes,
time.
sir.
And when I was in elementary school, I walked to Meadow Lane from South Phoenix City. We passed by Woodrow's house every day, and they would say, "Hey, man, the Lowe's live over there. The Lowe's in that
Mhm.
just a beautiful white house." And and versus what I grew up in, I'm like, man, I like a house like that one day.
Right.
And so that was something that I knew of. And then when middle school, I'm watching on a Sunday the Coach Bryant show. Show came on a Sunday, and that particular Sunday, Coach Bryant said Woodrow Lowe on the tackle, Phoenix City, Alabama. Bingo.
Uh-huh.
That's what he said. And when he said that, I said, I'm going to Alabama.
Man.
I'm going to Alabama. So middle school, high school, that's my vision. That's what I'm proclamating. I'm proclaiming that and telling people, man, I'm going to Alabama, man. I'm going to play ball at Alabama. And I really focused on that.
Yeah.
I really focused on it and started working towards it. Ran track, played basketball, did it, just trying to become the best athlete that I could become. I was undersized, but the neat thing about it is Coach Bryant took a chance on me and
Yeah.
opportunity as a 5'9", 155-pound defensive back.
Wow. Your son did a good job being on that production team. It was crazy to see like some of the things that our culture went through. Was that a driving motivation once you kind of left the game? Was that like to come in and impact the young African-American men in athletics and kind of start guiding and mentoring?
God just really placed that on my heart that, he blessed our ethnicity with tremendous athletic ability. You know,
Mm-hmm.
in the locker room with these guys, man, and you play with them, you're like, he just blessed our ethnicity. And after I got through playing, what he really laid on my heart to do was help develop the leadership in that next generation of, hey man, you have an ability. When he gives us an ability, then we have a responsibility.
Yes, sir.
And so that's what I have really been about ever since he called me out of the game, is through mentoring, coaching, discipling, getting young African-American men to realize the giftedness that God has placed in them.
Yes, sir.
Giftedness there. And it excites me when I can, get involved in one of those, just like with the players down at our University of Alabama, their spiritual development, got the things happening for the physical side, but the football is a platform. What I try to teach them is God's given you that ability to achieve, but he wants you to excel so that you can turn around, you can be blessed, and then you can turn around and bless others.
Bless others. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love that message. And I'm glad that you kind of segued into that. What was that? What was those moments like as you begin to see over the past, I would say even like towards the end of Coach Saban's tenure, you saw that players, and I know you had a great impact on it. I remember talking to Chris Owens about, some of the interactions, things that you would say and speak to the team about while he was playing there. And he was like, you actually caught his attention to spiritually, really settle in with who he was in God, but just what was that like to experience? And I know you being a pastor and a leader. What's going on, family? You're locked in with the Coach Smook Network, and I'm your host, Coach Smook, your favorite Alabama insider and sports media personality. Do me a quick favor, tap that like button, share the stream out, and if you're new here, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you never miss any of the action. Now listen, if you really rock with what we're building here, I invite you to take the opportunity to support the channel by becoming a member of the AAA family. Our mantra is authenticity above all. Everything we do, our content and our community, is built on creating and enjoying quality, authentic conversations, real insight, and real information surrounding sports entertainment. Your membership directly assists in the growth of the Coach Smook Network, and every hard-earned dollar you contribute is not only appreciated, it's paid forward. We proudly make monthly contributions to various community health and awareness organizations because impact matters. If you want to get even more involved with the community, be sure to join our Discord. You can type the command right now in the live chat or head over to our main YouTube page and click the Linktree link in the description. And for those who want to support the network directly, you can donate through multiple options: Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App. Every bit of support helps us continue to grow and elevate this platform. Thank you all for the love and the support and the energy you bring every single time. Now buckle up because it's time to get into the show. Somebody type it in the chat. Say, put me in the game, Coach Smook. The gospel
Let's
of the Lord. So when that started happening at Alabama and you started seeing it kind of just spread, what was that feeling like? Can you kind of give us like what went into that and then to see that process and see that come to fruition?
Well, Coach, it really goes back to when I got to Alabama. There's a ministry called Athletes in Action.
Yes, sir.
Campus Crusade for Christ. Eddie Lowe, who was my roommate, we got involved with that ministry. And over the 4 years of our time at Alabama, we were discipled and mentored by the guy that ran it on campus. And he really did a tremendous job with us. His name is Brent Nelson. He's still alive today. And the things that we had to do at Alabama as a football player, number one thing was commit. Coach Brown's whole thing is, man, you're going to commit to this. Commitment is a big word today. That's where you get greatness from. It's from people that commit and that understand that whatever it is in life.
Yeah.
As a young African-American man that had an identity in Christ.
Yes, sir.
Knew my identity in Christ. And so when that happened, I got out of ball, all of those things, God called me, but I had the opportunity to return in 2001 to go back to Alabama.
Yeah.
And I took up that opportunity. So this is my 25th year as a chaplain.
Oh.
So I took that opportunity because those 4 years were so impactful in the maturity of me as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I said, man, I want as many guys to experience what I experienced at the University of Alabama, not football wise.
That life impact.
That's it. It was the maturation of them as a person in taking the spiritual area of life, and me coaching them in that, because that's how, I mean, for me, the spiritual area is what allowed me to be a great player.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it really did. It bettered me as a person overall. When you're focused, you don't have a lot of distractions. Man, you can excel on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened for me, because I had distractions. One of them was my mother, who had a severe drinking problem there in Phoenix City, and by getting drafted, I had a chance. I'm kind of maybe going a little down this little road here, but
yeah, go ahead.
Together.
We wish you, sir. Look, authenticity above all is our thing, and this is what I wanted to get. This is the side that I couldn't find clips of on other channels. You know, I don't know why people run from talking about their faith so much in this industry. I wouldn't be here without them. So I love this. This is home for me. Go ahead, sir. Continue. We enjoying it. Hold on one second. If you're serious about sports, you need more than just box scores. You need real insight. That's why Sports Info Solutions is the official partner of the Coach Smook Network. Sports Info Solutions is my go-to source for in-depth stat analysis, giving you the tools to truly understand player production, tendencies, and performance on a whole new level. From NFL, MLB to NBA, Sports Info Solutions delivers advanced data that helps fans, coaches, and analysts see the game behind the game. This isn't just stats, it's context. Looking ahead to the next generation of stars, check out nfldraft.sportsinfosolutions.com for elite draft analysis and detailed prospect breakdown. Make it your new go-to stat tracker. Visit sportsinfosolutions.com today. Now let's get back in the game.
Well, when I got to Alabama, I had a vision. I had a vision for my life and part of it included my mom and my dad, especially my mother, who had a severe drinking problem. I came to the Lord at 13. And when I did, one of the first things he gave me was a dream, a vision that my mother could be sober.
Yeah.
I loved my mother. I was a mama's boy.
Me too.
And I wanted to see my mother sober, because I saw my mother walk the streets of Phoenix City barefoot, intoxicated. And those are shameful things that as a 13, 14, 15-year-old, you having to deal with.
Yeah.
I had to deal with domestic violence, my parents having, just fighting. And so the most powerful thing that happened was I met the Lord.
Yeah.
He gave me the strength and a vision that all of that could change. All of it could change. And he gave me a strength living in that home with all that chaos. He gave me a peace in the midst of the adversity, in the midst of the storms. And so that's what I was focused on when I got to Alabama. And he brought people in my life that was able to help me continue to go on that way. And so I got drafted, put my mother in rehab.
Yeah.
30 days later, she met the Lord when she was in rehab. He sobered her up, saved her, and she lived the next 34 years without never ever taking another drink.
Look at God, man. See, and that's, sir, I just, and you hear those inspirational stories all the time. You hear everybody kind of experience those, but it's crazy how God will allow the worst of the worst to happen to you. So when he puts you in place to give you those things you've been praying for, like you don't fumble it. And it's crazy that you even told the story like that, because that's where I'm at in my life right now, sir. Like everything that's happened in my life, a lot of people look at where I'm at in this content creation stuff and they think that I've been doing this forever, but like God pulled me into this. Crazy as it may sound, he pulled me into this. I have so many other skill sets, things that I do that I feel like would help me provide for my family and set up my legacy and things. But he pulled me away from security in the military, away from the security of being at my parents' ministry and not stretching myself spiritually. Like literally just pulling me, going through a divorce, all these different things to set me up for moments like what I've been having and experiencing in that quiet place, to where, like you said, those distractions, the level of focus that has been obtained in my life over the past 2 years, I'm grateful for those dark moments, those hard struggles that I couldn't really let God have until he had like literally put me in a space to where I couldn't do nothing but let it go so I could hold on to him. Like those moments, sir, they mean so much. And so I'm glad that, that's part of your story, your legacy, your life. That's going to touch people. Speak on your mentorship program. I think that is something that is so impactful. Like I was reading up on like how long it's been established. I think Sherman Williams does something similar also with his program too.
Well, we have mentorship we've done for 25 years at the University of Alabama. Probably one of the most well-known guys through our chapel program and our off-season program, well-known guys that we baptized would be Bryce Young. We baptized Bryce while at the University of Alabama. He was involved in our chapel program. Then we do the same thing here in Birmingham with young inner city young men, and have been doing that. Actually, I started doing that work almost 30 years ago when I moved here to Birmingham. So about 5 years before I came on board with what we do down at Alabama, I was doing it here in Birmingham, and we have taken young men literally into our home. My wife and I were talking the other day. We was trying to count up how many people have lived with us.
Look, all these children, and that's it's funny because when I saw you first, Kaylin DeBoer's first spring, and we had that massive group of scouts, prospects visiting. It was like I think over 200 scouts came and visited. California Power brought their team, and you spoke with Coach Porter and his team, and I sat in right there in that classroom, and I didn't know at the time. I'm new to credentialed media. I didn't know at the time I wasn't supposed to be there, but you spoke to them about humble beginnings, but appreciating for those that didn't have to start at humble beginnings. Like you was telling them their opportunity is rare, to be a part of that organization. And I held on to that because I was in a rare opportunity. I didn't go to school for journalism, none of that, and I'm in there sideline reporting and doing things I didn't even plan to ever do in my life. So it's crazy that what your foundation has done for a lot of young men coming out of Birmingham. We know about Birmingham. We know about Montgomery. We know about all the hot spots in the state of Alabama.
Most of these guys, especially in Birmingham, they grew up without a father.
Yeah.
So not a father. What's neat for me is we have 6 biological children, and our oldest son is 41, but he's got big brothers. This guy's lived with us that's older than him. So he's not actually the oldest son in the family. And what's neat, Coach Smook, is that these guys grew up without their fathers, but they're married in their fathers today.
Yes, man, sir.
That's the great. My mother's sobriety is probably my greatest satisfaction. But next to that is these young men that grew up without fathers in the inner city of Birmingham, and today they're married, and some of them we married. We did the preaching, the whole works, man, and they're married, 2, 3, 4 children. I was with some of them last night celebrating my birthday, and I'm looking at these. I remember when you was staying at the house. It didn't have a whole. I mean, they're married, successful, young. It shows you the goodness of God.
Yeah,
it shows the power of God. He's powerful, brother.
Yes, sir. Look,
powerful, good Heavenly Father. And that was my experience coming through Phoenix City and Alabama. And so that's what That's what I attempt to give back to young men.
I think that's why I gravitate to you, because I've watched my dad do the same thing in ministry for my whole life. I'm 30, I'll be 36 this year. 2001 is when we started our ministry in Columbus, and we're still up and operating today. So majority of my life, I've seen grown men with, a wife and kids, but they didn't know how to be a father. They didn't know how to be a husband. And I've shared my father in that space on both the spiritual side and like literally, I remember riding with him to break up domestic violence incidents and watch those families reconcile. Men break down in front of the woman they was just talking about they gonna beat up, because of the God in my father and the type of mentorship. So impacting the men, and this is not to degrade the woman, but divine order. God made it a certain way for a reason. And when you're in order, when you're in alignment, it's not going against each other. You're working together because that's the way that God ordained it,
Yes.
And I saw that in my house. My mom is a strong-willed woman, very, very strong in the word, carries herself. When she walks in the room, she commands the room, a true woman of virtue, and not one to bite her tongue. But I saw my dad really have the grace to not handle her, but to minister to her. And I just had the example in front of me. So, when I got the interactions with you, I just was like, man, I get it now. You carry that same fatherly mantle, that spiritually fatherly mantle. I'm in a space in my life, that's what I survive on, my faith. I literally went days without eating during this transition because I had to rely on my faith, knowing that I had a mission to do or whatever. Amen. An assignment, and just carry it through and trust God in it. And he's always kept me. So I'm grateful. It's just been so awesome. Chat, if y'all enjoying this, please do not forget to like and share the stream, and just make sure y'all subscribe. We're gonna get Mr. Castille's all his social tags and things plugged in at the end of the show. But make sure y'all support it and share the live right now. Let everybody know it's Bigger Than Bar here with Coach Smook, with our special guest Jeremiah Castille, the great former Alabama DB and now just motivational speaker, pastor, leader, father to many. I mean, just continuing the legacy. When you look back on everything, when you finally, allow yourself to settle down, right? Because only you gonna stop you, or when God settle you down. When people speak on that name, when they speak on that legacy, what is it that you want it to be?
That my life demonstrated two things. He loved God and he loved people. That's it. He loved God and he loved God's creation.
One of the biggest commandments, love those as you love yourself. Oh man, it's so simple yet so profound, because it for people to know that you love God, is one thing to say it, but your life has to show it. Like that's a place where I'm at in life, even with rebranding, not necessarily rebranding, but shaping the brand that I represent now. Authenticity is, being who I am in God, and that's been carrying me. I've never been ashamed, but just shaping how others going to perceive it, because like you, somebody's always watching, and I'm on the most craziest platform. So I've been really reshaping it, and it's been impact, sir. The journey is just beginning, and I've been through so much already. I know the latter will be greater. And you get what I'm saying? Like it's there.
I shared with our players. I said, man, I'm a happy 65-year-old. I'm happy. And that's because all of your days are connected.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is you're going to manifest the fruit of your life based on the decisions you make in the early parts of your life. And that's where faith comes in. You need to be a man or woman of faith because you want your latter years to be greater than your former years.
Yes, sir.
Well, the only way that's going to happen is you put some seed in the ground.
Yes, sir. And you tended to it. You didn't just put it there and expect it to grow on its own. You had to do the work to make sure it grew the right way.
I like to call it sacrificial giving.
Yes, sir.
That's the big. You learn how to be sacrificial. That's what it takes to love people. To love God's people, you have to. There's a sacrifice there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Miss Castille, I'm gonna give you the floor to kind of just speak to the community, man. I know for a fact, this was monumental. Not not just for the content side of things, but I don't ask God for much. I just ask for clarity and guidance, in this season of my life. And I just I don't know why I hadn't been reached out. We've crossed paths on the Bama Standard back in 2022. Um, I mean, I just don't know why I haven't. And it's like every encounter that I had in this space that's been impactful has been like divine timing. And sir, I'm gonna tell you, like in front of my live audience, like I needed that confirmation of who I was gleaning to and gravitating to in this. Like the past 2 years, I just find myself watching your storylines, just watching all the motivational stuff that you do, and it always hits me in those moments where I could really use it. So I just want to publicly, before I give you the floor, I just want to thank you for coming on, taking time out your schedule to come and just share with us. And that's all we want to do. We want people to understand, like we highlighted maybe 3 minutes of your football career. Everything, you're so much more than what you did on the field. And like you said, that's just a platform. Your legacy is really what you do past that. Who are you? How much change are you impacting, and what kind of change are you impacting? And are you bringing souls? It's the mission. But sir, the
Yeah.
floor is yours. Let the people know how they could support you, about your foundations and everything you got going on. And just know you got a consistent supporter in Coach Smook over here. But go ahead, sir. The floor is yours.
Well, our, our one of our taglines in our ministry is called "Invest." We invest to influence, so that we can impact and inspire. That's what we do. And we recently changed our name to Castille Family Foundation. You know, it's still Jeremiah Castille Foundation right now, but if you want to go to Castille foundation.org, if you're looking to support us, that's where you can go. But in, invest so that you can influence. The greatest power that we have is the ability to influence. And that only comes when we're willing to invest. And after you do those two things, then what you're going to find is you're going to start impacting people's lives. And from there comes inspiration. I'm a product of leadership. I live an inspired life today because of men like my father, Joseph Castille, men like Coach Paul W. Bryant, who invested, influenced, impacted, and inspired my life. And those four things is what we do at Castille Family Foundation.
What we want to do is, with this Bigger Than Ball series, we want to get a day in the life at possibly an event, a foundational event. So we'll be monitoring your upcoming events, even if it's a speaking engagement. We want to be a part of just the rest of this journey of this legacy and just
We're gonna be doing something in Montgomery.
mm-hmm.
When we get all off, I'll touch base with you. We touch base by phone. I'll kind of give you some insight, and we can look to plan to we do that event, and we plan on having some Alabama players at it.
Okay. Yes, sir.
We're gonna come to Montgomery. We're gonna invest in that next generation of young people.
Yes, sir. Look, I'm all down for it. I actually have some meetings set up with the high school programs in the city, trying to expand our app that we're using to help with scouting and recruiting, getting these guys in the right pipelines, getting the right people that know the right people, evaluating these guys and getting them some looks. So this is, like I said, divine timing, sir. But once again, I truly appreciate you. I thank God for you. Tell your daughter thank you. She was very, very prompt and helpful. I love what y'all family doing, keeping it in the family, making it, understanding the value and the legacy. I love what your children are doing. And I see your grandkids coming up now. You got your grandson getting he becoming one of them top prospects. I've been watching him a little bit. So
We got a granddaughter that's a 2030 basketball prospect.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I be trying to keep up with all the recruiting stuff. That's really what got me into this industry. Just I didn't know I was as plugged into recruiting as I was. I just thought I was reading in the papers and going and watching high school games. But I truly appreciate you, sir. And as always, all love from this way. Coach Smook Network, AAA family. Y'all give it up one last time for Mr. Castille. What's your most active social media so we can get everybody to follow you and make sure they keeping up with the inspiration?
We've really here in the last few months really doing a lot on TikTok.
Okay.
So and you tell them I'm telling my age now because I'm Caleb, my son Caleb is really handling all.
Yeah.
I could even tell you, I think it's Jeremiah Castille, something like that.
Look, we'll plug it in on the edit when I post the edit. We'll premiere the edit and we're gonna plug it in with a nice little graphic and everything.
Coach, we need to get Caleb on here with me the next time we come on.
I was just about to ask you, see the spirit knows.
It'd be a good show.
Yes, sir. I'm down for that. Anytime y'all ready. Look, we connected now for real, for real.
Hey, I like to tell people, stay focused, stay faithful, stay humble, and the Lord of heaven and earth will raise you up in due season.
Yes, sir. Look, we'll take that and we're going to run with it and continue to pray that God shower down his favor and his blessings on your life, sir, because you've done a great work and is nowhere near finished. And I'm glad to be connected to it.
Enjoy the conversation. God bless.
God bless you too, sir. Y'all give it up for Mr. Castille, y'all. Jeremiah Castille, y'all.